we're wrapping up our countdown with our top 5 Christmas movies of all time. So this past week has gotten a little bit more interesting. Turns out we kind of had to get into the top 10 before people's opinions started coming out. But that's awesome. That's exactly why I wanted to do the countdown in the first place, and exactly why I prefaced in the very beginning that this is my list and nobody else's. But before we get into our top 5, I've got to round out our honorable mentions. And I've got another non-Christmas movie.
Oh, this one's gonna get me in trouble.
It's Die Hard. I know, there is nothing more polarizing at Christmas than whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not. And listen, I think it is arguably the greatest action movie of all time. And no doubt, it does happen during Christmas, but it is not a Christmas movie. And I am not the only one that thinks so. Don't believe me? Why don't you just ask this guy?
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
See? I told you. Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, if there's anybody left watching, at number 5, I've got Love Actually. So you may have noticed that throughout this entire countdown, I have kind of stayed away from the Christmas romantic comedies, even though there are 10,000 of them. Thank you, Hallmark. But that's because I think they all pale in comparison to Love Actually.
Hi.
Who is it?
It's Carol Singers.
First, I love a movie that's got a bunch of little stories that all come together under one umbrella. You make that one umbrella Christmas, and I really do think you are set up for what could be the greatest romantic comedy of all time, and that's Love Actually. I just love how it talks about love in so many different ways, from the simplicity of love to the complexity of love, to the youth of love to how love ages and fades over time. It talks about unrequited love. Every time I watch this movie, I feel loved, and I just want to go out and do a whole lot of loving. Isn't that what Christmas is all about? Not to mention, it's got a great soundtrack, it's got a great cast. It's just a great movie. At number 4, I've got probably my favorite Bill Murray performance of all time. Sorry, Caddyshack lovers, Scrooged. So, I've said earlier in the countdown that I think A Christmas Carol is second only to The Birth of Christ when it comes to Christmas stories that kind of need to be told at Christmas time. And this version with Bill Murray just takes it to a whole other level. It's like dark and a little scary. And the one-liners that Bill Murray puts out are just timeless. Only Bill Murray can make the idea of stapling antlers to a mouse sound hilarious. The Ghost of Christmas Past is just gross and hysterical. The Ghost of Christmas Present is an absolute scene stealer.
The bitch hit me with a toaster.
Just everything about this movie is just darkly hilarious. And of course, at the end, like all good Christmas movies, it ties it all together in a very feel-good moment. In fact, Bill Murray goes out of his way to treat us as audience members to make sure we go home feeling Christmas happy. It's a fantastic version of A Christmas Carol. At number 3, we've got everybody's favorite home security system, Kevin McAllister, in Home Alone. So when Home Alone first came out in 1990, I was 9? And up until that point in my life, I had never laughed so hard in a movie theater. I will never forget it. And as I have gotten older, I still laugh just as hard. And I've come to appreciate the movie even more because I've gotten to watch my kids watch Home Alone for the first time and seen how hard they laugh at it. Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern are slapstick comedy gold.
Hello.
It is ageless. Home Alone is so funny. It has a fantastic Christmas story, but it's just a great movie. One of my family's absolute favorites. See, honey, I told you Home Alone was going to make it high on the list. At number 2, I've got my absolute favorite version of A Christmas Carol ever, The Muppet Christmas Carol. Look, anybody that knows me knows, 1, I love musicals.
Scrooge, you're doomed for all time.
2, I love the Muppets.
Say, do you know that fruit is wax?
You put those two things together and have a Muppet musical combined with one of the greatest Christmas stories of all time. It is family Christmas gold. You got Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy as the Cratchits. Gonzo is Charles Dickens. The Muppet characters are all the way throughout it. It's just perfect. But my favorite thing about this movie is Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge. So many men have played Ebenezer Scrooge over the years. Kelsey Grammer, Albert Finney, Tim Curry, Guy Pearce, Jim Carrey, Patrick Stewart, George C. Scott, for God's sakes. But they all do not hold a candle to Michael Caine's performance. He is the perfect Ebenezer Scrooge. Go out, watch it, remind yourself how great this movie is. There is something in it for every single member of your family. That is what the Muppets do. And my number 1 all-time favorite Christmas movie is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Look, I just don't think there is any better steward of the Christmas season than Clark Griswold. Ever since I was a kid, I was always just enamored with how this one guy wanted to try so hard to give his family the perfect Christmas. And as I've gotten older, I just slip more and more into a Clark Griswold mindset at Christmas time. I just want to give my family the perfect Christmas. And that's all he tries to do in this movie. And he just gets shat on the entire time. From his whole family, to his work, to his neighbors. This guy is just beat up for trying his best. But the great thing is that at the end, he pulls it off. And it's like a Christmas miracle. And honestly, it's got the greatest rant in cinematic history when Clark Griswold is standing in front of his family and just the weight of all the crap has finally piled up on him and he completely loses it.
And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is! Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
That rant, to me, is perfect. And I could watch it over and over and over again. And I do. And that's why it is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. It always has been, and it always will. I certainly hope for a few of you, it might be your favorite too. Well, that's it, everybody. That is my top 20 Christmas movie countdown of all time. Look, I can't thank you enough for following me over the last 4 weeks and commenting and letting me know what you think about my favorite picks. 2024 really has been a great year, and I can't thank each and every one of you enough for supporting me and supporting my entire family. So from the entire Realtor on the Road family, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I cannot wait to talk to you all in 2025. Let's try to buy and sell some homes this next year, shall we? I will talk to you all soon. Bye.